Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. It's Chamber Check-in time. And today I have owner, CEO, founder of Idaho Real Potato Chips, Teton Valley Brands, Mr. Kyle Nearing with us today. Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for taking some time. I've been eating these chips and I can't put them down. Uh, and they're so good. And I'm so glad you took an opportunity to help share the story. You know, we're the potato state, right? And might as well make some potato chips. So I'm looking forward to hearing your story and sharing your family story. And these chamber check-ins are really designed to help share our business member stories, as well as their products, services, and the most important, the people behind them. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to learn more, Kyle. But first, I got to thank our series sponsor for these check-ins. Kyle, it's Delta Dental of Idaho. And for over 50 years, Delta Dental of Idaho has been bringing best-in-class dental insurance benefits uh, to Idahoans and businesses. And I'm going to help share a fun factoid from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
One of the benefits to employees in having a good dental plan is that 78% of people are more likely to go in for their preventive and restorative type services. Annual dental checkups is part of prevention. People that have dental benefits are 40% more likely to schedule their routine cleaning. Preventive is so important. It keeps your mouth healthy and it keeps your overall body healthy too.
Thank you, Delta Dental. So, Kyle, where are you at today?
Yeah, sure. I'm in our facility based out of
Oh, so
Nampa,
you're in Nampa.
Idaho.
Okay.
hmm
So Teton Valley Brands isn't in the Teton Valley, it's in Nampa, but I love the name. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, we get that a lot, so that's a very fair question. The reason why we decided to launch the facility in Nampa was mainly because most of the population of Idaho is here in the greater Boise area, and that is where we sell the vast majority of our product, and so that's why we're here. And that being said, the name comes actually from 4 generations ago. My great grandfather, he started farming potato chips or actually potatoes in the early 1900s. And so he wasn't exactly in Teton Valley, but he was right there in that area. He was actually based out of a little town called Newdale, and so that's where we get the name Teton Valley. And also, I went to school in Eastern Idaho, and I love the Tetons, and yeah, we got a lot of ties there.
What also expands for other brand opportunities as well. I love Teton Valley brand logo and name. Um, I have your website pulled up. Do you mind if I just kind of share a little bit of a quick video from your website with the viewers today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to pull that up and we're going to play that real quick.
How did I get into the potato chip business? Uh, I didn't know anything about potato chips or manufacturing or food or how to launch a product like this. It was truly just a side hustle. My wife and I, my brother, in our basement, packaging, by hand potato chips, and realizing that we had something that could potentially, do well in the marketplace. And so it went from very, very small, as small as you can imagine, to to what it is today, where we're doing thousands of bags every week. All of our potatoes come from Idaho. All of our potatoes, actually in the bag, you can see on the back of it where they come from in Idaho. I think right now we're doing some chips from Shelley, Idaho. A week ago we were doing some from Oakley, Idaho, and so just all throughout the state is where our potatoes come from, but only from Idaho. Today we actually produce about 16,000 potatoes worth of potato chips each and every week, which turns into about 20,000 bags of potato chips a month. It's been an incredible amount of fun, an incredible amount of work, which is actually very rewarding in and of itself. And so, definitely an adventure.
I love it. That's an awesome video, Kyle. You got a little bit more hair or less hair now from that video.
I think I've pulled out a little bit more.
Wow, what a cool story. So it started out as a side hustle, but where did it really come from? Like, you're thinking one night, having some dinner with your wife, you're like, we should make some potato chips. Tell us about that.
Sure, yeah. So it started, the idea started in 2010, actually. So quite a few years ago now. I was in college at the time and I was studying entrepreneurship. And I kind of knew I always wanted to start my own business someday. And I had this idea, why does Idaho not have an Idaho branded potato chip? We are the Idaho state. I mean, we're not just the Idaho state. The Idaho potato means something everywhere you go, almost throughout the world. And so why do we not use that brand for other products? There's a few products out there, but for the most part, it's very underutilized. And in potato chips, it was basically nothing. And so, so that's where the idea started. The only thing I knew at the time was it would cost a lot of money, and I'd have to learn just about everything about it. Because once again, I was in college, I didn't know much. But my career took me down a path where I learned a lot of that stuff. And so, still very, very poor as far as the money is concerned, but we learned a lot, and that's gotten us started. So,
wow. And when was that video made?
That video that you watched was probably made 6 months ago.
Okay, so it's relatively new.
Yeah.
And that number, about 16,000 potatoes each week. How has that gone up or down? And tell me a little bit about that.
So let me think real quick. 16,000 potatoes is what I said. We are now doing about 60,000 potatoes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
And the brands or the flavors. So you just sell you just make and sell potato chips, right?
Correct.
Okay, keeping it really simple. And you've got 4 flavors. What are those flavors?
Yeah, that's actually something that we really like, is we try to showcase Idaho. And so basically the idea is, how do you experience Idaho through a bag of potato chips? And so, of course, your potatoes have to come from Idaho, but then our flavors also represent something from the West or from Idaho in particular. And so as far as our flavor names go, this one's called Rocky Mountain Salt. And so once again, the Rockies, the Tetons, it all kind of flows together. Our jalapeno is called Hell's Canyon jalapeno. Okay. Hell's Canyon is such an amazing canyon that so few people know about. And then also on the back of the bag, that's a picture of the Tetons. We've got a picture of different parts of Idaho for each flavor. And so just in general, our flavors reflect what we as Idahoans perceive Idaho to be, and trying to give people a little taste of Idaho.
I love it. I was walking into Albertson's grocery store on 16th and State just last night, and right in the foyer where the cart area is, they have little displays of whatever, and it was just a full display of Idaho real potato chips, Teton Valley brands. I should have taken a picture and sent it to you, Kyle.
Yeah, Albertsons, that's actually, they've been really great for us. They reached out to us originally, and they were kind of the first major retailer to bring us on. They've been a great partner for us.
Hey, where else can we find your potato chips in retail here in the Valley?
Yeah, so if you are here in Idaho, so Winco, Walmart, Fred Meyer, and Albertsons, those are kind of our core accounts.
Okay, and how are you distributed, Kyle?
Yeah, and then I also should mention, as far as convenience stores, we're in the Jacksons and Extra Mile stores. As far as how we're distributed goes, So it depends. Distribution is actually one of the biggest challenges with a company like mine. There's a lot of challenges that I could get into, but distribution is really difficult and it's really expensive. So here locally in Treasure Valley specifically, we do the distribution ourselves. So we have a driver, we have a truck, and we go around and we take care of most of our stores. Throughout other parts of the state, we've got different partners that we work with. And then there are massive distribution companies that we're working with to a degree. And so it's kind of a mixed bag. There is definitely no one size fits all. Even in potato chips, whatever the product is, there's always challenges with distribution.
Oh yeah, lightweight goods to fill up a semi. You got to fill it to the rim with not an inch of air anywhere.
Yeah.
I can only just think about that. Hey, so what are the ingredients? Tell me a little bit more and dive deeper into all the ingredients, and then we'll talk. And then I want to ask a couple more questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So our ingredients, we definitely try to keep everything as natural as possible. I believe in better for you alternatives, and I'm certainly not against snacking, obviously, and potato chips. However, if you're going to do it, you have to do it responsibly. And so I wouldn't encourage anybody to eat a whole bag, although I've done it myself. But as far as the ingredients go, we genuinely try to have some of the cleanest, best ingredients. So first and foremost, Idaho russet potatoes. The russet has the most flavor. It's what almost everybody cooks with at home. It's kind of the American potato, and almost nobody else uses a russet potato for chipping, for making potato chips. So that one's quite unique. The other thing is we've partnered with a company out of Colorado, and so we supply all of our sunflower oil. It's all hyoleic expeller pressed sunflower oil from a small company in Colorado, and that's something that we're very proud of. And then the last ingredient that's consistently among all the flavors is our salt. Redmond Real Salt is the exact brand. We call it Rocky Mountain Salt, but it comes from an ancient seabed in Utah, and it's just amazing, very good for you salt. Lots of trace minerals, tons of benefits there. So only the highest ingredients. And then of course, on the back of our bag, we actually educate the customers on some of these things. So salt, potatoes, and sunflower oil. And the reason is we want to be as transparent as possible, because most people don't know where their food comes from and what they're eating. And we try to do exactly the opposite. And as a small company, we can do that. Large companies, it's much more difficult, but for us, why not? So
I think that's great. Thanks for sharing. It seems simple, right? Potato,
yeah.
salt. I think that people try to get too complex with things, and I love the simplicity of your outfit, Kyle. And let's keep things more simple and keep the ingredient content low. And I tell you what, the flavor. My family eats a lot of potato chips. I do as well. And when I tasted yours for the first time, just recently, I was blown away by the quality. And there's some fun facts on your website as well. You listed and you shared with me what your chips are made of, where we can buy them, how they're distributed. Is there anything else, while I have you today, Kyle, that you'd like to educate the public on about Teton Valley brands or the Idaho Real Potato Chips?
Yeah. So probably the thing that's most unique, it's what you just said makes a lot of sense from my perspective, and that's because the flavor that you taste for us is not the flavor of the oil and the salt so much, it's the flavor of the potato. And using a russet potato, you genuinely have a different flavored chip. And a lot of people notice that, and a lot of people love it. We get emails all the time. These are the best chips I've ever had, ever, bar none. And it's really encouraging to see it. Now, that being said, there are a few challenges with that, and as we've gotten started, for anyone out there listening who tried a bag maybe a couple years ago, some of our early bags were a little rough as we were trying to understand exactly how to make chips the right way. And to be completely honest, it's a never-ending learning curve. But we've come leaps and leaps forward on that, and we're really pretty darn good at making potato chips now. But yeah, that's probably the one thing is I would say our chips, they look a little different. They tend to amber up a little bit more, sometimes a little bit darker, but they've got that rich russet flavor that's, in my opinion, unbeatable. I
agree. So from a concept and an idea in 2010 to making, I don't know how many bags. I see in the background you've got boxes and boxes and boxes of potato chips getting ready to be distributed. How many employees do you have? What's the size of warehouse that you're creating these things in? And tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So so that was the idea in 2010. In 2017, that was when we officially started the company as a side hustle out of our basement. And we did that for a couple of years. And then we decided we got to get serious about this if we're going to do it. And so this facility, we started working on in 2019 and then launched in summer of 2020. So we've been here just over 2 years now. And truth be told, we're much larger than this size. So we're only in about 4,000 square feet, just a hair under. But you can see we really are. We're stacked to the brim. Last week we shipped out probably 40 pallets. So if you can imagine 40 pallets more in here, it would be a really tight fit. But yeah, we do it all right here in our facility, from manufacturing to warehousing to everything. And I can just give you just a quick glance into what manufacturing looks like. We won't go in there. I'm not all clothed and ready for it, but that's yeah, I can do that one more time. We didn't time that well. but yeah, so that's our facility. Really, we need something about twice as big, and hopefully in a couple of years, something twice as big as that. But we'll see. We're just kind of going one day at a time right now. So
I love it. I love it. How many employees do you have right now? Did you say 19? Is that what I heard?
No, we're at about 15.
Okay. Wow. Well, Kyle, I just want to say thank you so much for carving out a little bit of time to help educate me and other chamber members on what you're doing right here in the Treasure Valley in Nampa, Idaho, making the best potato chips in the world, and investing in Nampa as well as in your local chambers. It just means the world to us, Kyle, and thanks again for your efforts and bringing the good stuff.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Okay. Hey, have a great weekend, and hope to see you at an upcoming event, Kyle.
Okay, will do. Thanks, Paul.